They didn't just change a coach. They lit a fuse under the entire league. New York moves on from Sandy Brondello, the architect of their rise. And within hours, the conversation flips from what happened to Indiana. What are you waiting for? Because if you're Caitlin Clark, this is the moment you circle in red ink, the moment you push for the one coach who actually hands you the keys and says drive. The shockwaves out of New York are still rattling the W. A powerhouse franchise just walked away from a proven winner and a locker room favorite. And no one can explain it without using words like politics, power, or championship or bust. But while analysts argue over New York's logic, the bigger story is in Indiana. The most transformative guard of her generation suddenly has a chance to pair with the most empowering system coach available. The fans are already chanting it online. Grab Brondello now, and for once the viral comment section might be right. Tonight we're breaking down why a Clark-Brondello partnership would tilt the balance of power, why that scares the league, and what it would take to make it real. The reason this moment is so loud isn't just the headline. It's the timing. Caitlin Clark has already outgrown the promising young star label. She's the engine of attention, the gravity well every defense orbits, the name that spikes ratings with a single graphic. What she needs next isn't more hype, it's structure that unleashes her gifts without boxing her in. That's where Sandy Brondello lives. Modern spacing, pacing with purpose, actions that weaponize shooting threats, and a philosophy that treats elite guards like co-pilots instead of passengers. Put simply, Clark doesn't need training wheels. She needs a runway. Brondello builds runways. New York's year was messy in all the ways that test a staff. Stars banged up, rotations patched together, and expectations turned up to 11. Yet publicly, the locker room circled their coach after elimination. No finger-pointing, no mutiny. Just an understanding that the group fought through a season where availability beat out tactics more nights than anyone wants to admit. And then with the season barely cold, the front office chose a reset. Whether you label it non-renewal or firing, the shock is the same. They removed the steward, who had shepherded them from promise to parades. And they did it fast enough to make even rivals raise an eyebrow. What would Brondello actually change for Caitlin? Start with usage that breathes. More early offense, more rescreens and angle changes that punish top locks, and built-in reads that let Clark punish switches without living on ISO gas. Expect empty corner actions to open downhill lanes, ghost screens to force indecision, and Spain-style stacks that pull rim protectors into impossible choices. Crucially, Brondello empowers star guards as on-floor organizers, green-lighting audibles, letting them call counters in real time and trusting their feel instead of overcoaching possessions to death. That's the difference between talent showcase and system star, and it's why this pairing turns heads. If you want proof of fit, rewind to All-Star. Clark, sidelined, wasn't parked like a mascot. She was treated like a mind that mattered. Clipboard out, voice active, trusted to read the flow and participate. That wasn't performative. It was a window into how Brondello relates to high IQ guards. Coaches reveal themselves when stakes are low and cameras are high. Some hoard control, others empower. Brondello chose empowerment. For Clark, that's oxygen. For Indiana, that's culture. Scroll the timelines and you'll see a pattern. Fever fans aren't just hopeful, they're demanding. The critiques aren't random potshots. They're about moments. Benches at the wrong time, cold hands on a hot game. Rotations that felt like compromise instead of conviction. Whether you agree or not, the perception is that Indiana's progress came from Clark's gravity and the roster's resilience more than from a coherent, star-centric scheme. Brondello represents the opposite. A plan tailored to a franchise player that still lifts everyone else. For a fan base that has watched Clark bend the sport's attention economy, the message is simple. Stop propping the door open and let her walk through it. Here's the spicy part, and you've heard it whispered all year. Some folks think the league prefers Clark contained, celebrated, sure, but not unleashed to the point of domination. Fair or not, every hard foul, every minute's yo-yo, every scheme that turned her into a decoy fed that narrative. Now imagine adding a coach who maximizes her gifts and hands her the steering wheel. If you believe in that politics theory, of course a Clark-Brondello pairing would ruffle feathers. But leagues don't grow by dimming stars. They grow when the brightest light forces everyone else to level up. Take the emotion out and the X's and O's still sing. Indiana can weaponize Clark's range with staggered pin downs that flow directly into pistol action. turning first touches into advantages before the defense is ready. Use slot ball screens with a lifting weak side shooter to punish tags, then invert it. Clark, as the spacer. Short roll reads from Boston or a stretch 5, kick kick bang. Brondello's teams thrive on sequencing. First action to second action to layup, because the answer the defense picks on the first screen becomes the trap on the second. That's how you turn gravity into good shots for everyone, night after night. This isn't just the Caitlin show. A Brondello offense would feed Aaliyah Boston with cleaner touches, deeper seals off early offense, duck-ins off guard cuts, and short roll catching points where her passing becomes a weapon. Kelsey Mitchell's foot speed becomes a feature, not a bailout, with more ghosting and flare slips that create chase situations for tired defenders. Shooters get rhythm looks on the second side rather than desperation heaves with the clock bleeding. When your star's gravity is organized, roll definition sharpens, and suddenly the 8th player looks like a 6th. Objection 1. You can't blow up a coaching plan mid-window. Rebuttal. Windows close faster than you think, and superstars in their ascension years need alignment, not apologies. Objection 2. Brondello just left a contender. Why would she jump now? Rebuttal. Because pairing with a generational guard at the start of her peak is legacy fuel, and legacy is what great coaches chase. Objection 3. This will make the league too top-heavy. Rebuttal. Dynasties don't kill leagues, they create villains, urgency, and must-see TV. Everyone benefits when excellence has a name and an address. If the Fever decide to move, the plan should be swift and surgical. First, internal clarity. Define the organization's identity around Clark and Boston pace with purpose, spacing as a non-negotiable, and defensive rules that travel. Second, sell the vision to Brondello, not with slogans but with specifics. Staffing autonomy, player development resources, shooting infrastructure, and analytics support to prototype actions quickly. Third, tune the roster. Add a vertical spacer to punish drop, a quick trigger wing who lifts on penetration, and a backup ball handler who keeps tempo when Clark sits. Give the coach ingredients that match the recipe, and you don't need miracles. You need reps. A Clark-Brondello alignment doesn't just add wins. It forces evolution. Teams that loaded the strong side and dared Indiana's second side to beat them would have to pick new poisons. Conservative coverages start hemorrhaging corner threes. Switch-heavy defenses get pulled into the blender by rescreens and slips. The league adjusts, or it gets routed, and that's healthy. When one team solves problems at a higher level, the rest of the league rises to meet them. That's how eras start, not with slogans, but with solutions that survive May, June, and October. Let's stop tiptoeing. If the goal is to maximize Caitlin Clark's prime and build a title-grade system that scales, the bold move is obvious. Make the call, make the pitch, make the hire. You don't get many chances to align a generational floor general with a coach whose whole playbook is empower the engine. Indiana has a moment that most franchises never see. Clarity about who they are and who can take them where they're trying to go. The fans already said it. The film already hints at it. The league, whether it loves it or not, needs it. So I'll put it to you, is this the moment Indiana stops waiting and starts winning the long game? Should the Fever push hard for Sandy Brondello and hand Caitlin Clark the system she deserves? Drop your take below. Grab Brondello now if you're all in, and tell me what action you want to see built around Clark first. Empty corner pick and roll, Spain stack, or pistol into rescreen. If you're riding with the Fever future like this video, subscribe and turn on notifications, because if this move happens, the balance of the W is about to shift. And we'll be here breaking down every possession.